Talking about behavior reminded me of a time I went into my school, into the date room where those children who had been taken out of class were sitting, and I tried a question set on the two guys sitting there. And when I finished, the greatest compliment they paid to me, they turned to the teacher looking after them and said, "When's that geezer coming back again?" So before I start, I just want to finish, really. I want to say thank you for coming. Thank you to all the people who've helped us talking, and especially thank you, Kevin, very much. At the end, if you want to stop to speak to anybody, please do, and help yourself to books. My dad used to say I was crazy. The German word is verrückt. We were refugees. I know what he meant. Let me explain. I once employed someone to do some psychometric testing in my company, and I and the management team all submitted ourselves. He was pretty good. He said, "Mr. Cann, you need to be careful. You have one of the highest challenge factors I have ever come across. You will attempt very difficult tasks that might be the end of you." For the life of what was known as the National Advisory Council for Education and Training Targets, I was on the board. That is, until the government abolished it, as they saw they were not going to get the targets. I was totally persuaded that the wealth of the country was the total skills and knowledge of all its inhabitants. And actually, inequality was not a question of money, it was a question of skills and knowledge. I also read Carol Dweck's book, some of you may have come across it, Mindset. And that convinced me that we are a long, long way from developing the potential of our children and our population as a whole. Our future depends actually not just on the so-called elite, but on everyone. For the last 20 years, I've been promoting the use of technology to help education, to help teachers achieve more of the potential of our children. If we do better in our schools, the rest will be easier. Sure, we can measure more, but that puts more strain on our teachers, especially with marking loads. Sure, we can keep modifying the curriculum to improve what we do, but teachers have to spend time adapting. Sure, we can improve training and management, but all this has loaded the profession so that it is bending under the load, and many, unfortunately, wish they had done something else. Teaching now is not often the first choice of our most competent graduates. We have to try something different. I believe one of the things we have to do is to use technology effectively to help teachers teach and children learn. It's actually a massive change when teachers themselves were taught differently, were trained to teach differently, and the easiest thing when you're under stress is to simply do what you did before. As my dad would say, you're crackers to try to change that. And yet, I see those children who have not reached their potential, and I see schools and teachers bending under the strain. But I am sure there is a solution. Having been around technology in classrooms for probably 25 years, Peter's been with me in most of them, right? I've seen what doesn't work as well as what does. And I know the solutions we are developing at LBQ seem work, or they appear to work. But I also know that it will not be easy to introduce. Not because it's difficult in itself, you all saw how easy it really is, but it's because the system is so busy. It is why we have made this conference for senior leadership, as you are the people that can create the space and motivation to make the change and change the lives of those wonderful children and teachers in your schools. Can you imagine banks without technology? Can you imagine transport without technology? Can you imagine hospitals without technology? However, one of the few areas we can all imagine without technology is teaching in schools. And I don't really mean whiteboards, which, while useful, didn't change so much. It's not just for teachers, but it teaches students confidence and resilience, as well as learning about their subjects. And it's thrilling and fun to use as they learn. All the reports seem to indicate that it works. I hope now you believe that it does. Perhaps a lot more than when you came. I am an old man. If it's the last thing I do, and it may well be, I want to help. I want, with your help, to have a shot at improving the lives of those teachers and children. In a more measured way, Kevin believes it will do so. Changing the way we have worked for literally hundreds of years is a tough task. But when achieved, we will all wonder why we took so long to get there. This isn't a money-making proposition. It's done through my charity, and that is so liberating. It's not an easy task, but it's a goal worth giving it a really good try. Crazy, perhaps, but Dad, worth it. Thank you. Go out into the world and see what you can do. Thank you for coming. Have a good journey home and a good teaching day tomorrow.